Bueno, creo que ya estamos grabando. Buenas noches a todos. Días en Australia, tardes posiblemente en Argentina, no sé, a la hora que lo
Sí,
vean esto.
tarde.
Martín, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y vos, Eduardo? ¿Todo bien por acá?
Bien, bien. Hoy muy emocionado porque vamos a tocar un tema dentro de los trenes diferente. Vamos a ver la parte que luego no se escucha mucho, pero sabemos que está ahí. Vamos a hablar de las mujeres y su papel importante que tenemos dentro del hobby, eh, qué hacen, hacia dónde se va. Y lo más importante, el día de hoy nos va a acompañar una persona que no solo está en el hobby, conoce el hobby, tiene la fortuna de ser la directora de uno de los museos de los más importantes en Estados Unidos y nos va a platicar su experiencia desde el punto de vista como directora, como mujer, como aficionada. Y es algo que, pues bueno, en México no conocemos mucho. Por ahí creo Martín me decía que él sí conoce varias mujeres que se dedican al hobby, ¿no?
Sí, correcto. Acá en Australia puedo contar fácil en el grupo donde estoy yo, en Canberra, 10 personas o 10 mujeres que se dedican al hobby. Es una rama bastante fuerte, pero creo que, como decís, es algo que no se encuentra muy a menudo. Y en el caso de Michelle es muy especial porque tiene uno, creo, el trabajo soñado por muchos que nos gusta el
Sí,
hobby, nos gustaría ser empleados y que nos
sí.
paguen por jugar con trenes, entre comillas. Pero el rol de ella va más allá de la maqueta, es una persona que no simplemente está con los trenes, sino es el museo, la promoción del museo, recibir turistas, tours, o sea, es muy importante y aparte difunde el hobby a nivel mundial.
Así es, de hecho, no me acuerdo si fue hace 1 o 2 meses, estuvieron con nosotros trabajadores del tren, estuvo el
Ujú.
Chapo y nuestro amigo Kenneth de Puebla, donde platicamos con personas que han manejado los trenes, se suben a los trenes y literal juegan con los trenes de verdad,
Sí,
pero hasta ahí nos habíamos quedado, pero el día de hoy, como dices, es el trabajo ideal de muchos, de
sí.
conocer trenes de verdad, pero aparte estar en uno de los mejores museos. Yo no tengo todavía la fortuna de visitarlo, lo he visitado virtualmente muchas veces y
Mm.
se ve increíble, espero tenerlo en la lista de pendientes para los próximos años, pero creo que es algo muy importante este museo.
Sí, sí.
Y pues bueno, yo creo que sin más preámbulos, sin tanto rollo como luego decimos en México,
Ujú.
vamos a darle la bienvenida a Michelle Kempema. Espero que lo haya pronunciado bien. Si no, ahorita le
Muy
digo
bien.
que nos corrija. Y vamos a darle aquí la bienvenida a Michelle.
Hello.
Hello, Michelle. ¿Cómo estás? How are you, Michelle?
Muy bien. Gracias. I speak this much Spanish, so, but I understand it. I can't speak it very well. But
Muy,
yes,
muy
thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Michelle, we are very excited to to have this chat with you to to finally meet you, even virtual, but where we are really happy. And the first questions that we have is, who is Michelle in your own words? Explain me who is Michelle and who are you? And before you answer, please let me translate because this is English to Spanish. Eh, la primera pregunta que le hacemos a todos, le damos la bienvenida a Michelle. Le estamos pidiendo que en sus propias palabras nos diga quién es Michelle, que nos explique a qué se dedica Michelle y mejor escucharlo de ella. Go ahead, Michelle, please.
Oh man, to describe me, I'm the
Yeah,
train lady. People in my community call me the train lady. Oh, you're the train lady.
the trailer.
El train
You
lady.
like the trains. You run the train museum. You do all this stuff with the trains. I am I'm the director of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, and I am blessed to be here. I have the best job on the planet, and I would argue that with anyone. And I get to bring modeling to people who've never met modeling and share it with the world. So I kind of translate modeling to the general public, and I love doing it.
Excellent.
Me gustó el train lady. I'm gonna use that word for promotion. Train lady.
Train lady.
Train lady.
I mean, are you married? Do you have children?
Mhm.
If you don't mind to share this
Yeah,
with
no,
us.
I'd be happy. I wasn't sure like how much you really want to know about me.
Don't worry. If you feel fine,
Okay.
talk.
And do I need to pause and let you translate every so often, or just roll, or what?
You can speak for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and then translate. Don't worry.
Then you can summarize it. I am
Okay.
married. I have 2 daughters, and my oldest is 24, and she is at the University of Colorado getting her doctorate in mechanical engineering. And I have a 21-year-old daughter, and she is studying Spanish at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, and she's a junior in college. So my kids are grown and out of my house, and so now I have time to go chase trains. Yeah, so I am married. I have a lot of family. Family is important, and I travel with my family a lot. A lot of times people see me out rail fanning, but really I'm on a vacation with my family, and I've just snuck away. So,
That's great. Michelle comentó algo importante. ¿Sí o no, Martín? La familia.
La familia, sí, por supuesto, como siempre, allá primero.
Tiene 2 hijas en sus 20s. Una de ellas está estudiando su major, bueno, su carrera en español. La mayor se me fue.
En
¿Recuerdas?
ingeniería mecánica,
Ingeniería, ingeniería mecánica, y obviamente dice que está casada, y cuando la vemos viajando, pues normalmente anda con su familia, pero también se dedica a perseguir trenes. La directora del Museo de Ferromodelismo de Colorado, y más allá de eso, algo que yo quería preguntarle, son puras mujeres en la familia. ¿Cómo se llevan sus hijas con su trabajo? ¿Quieres decirlo tú, Martín, en inglés?
Sí, sí, sí. Okay, Michelle, the question Eduardo has is how you taking your relation with your daughters and your work. Like I say, I guess they support you on this.
well, this is a really good story for me to tell right here. Then, this is my second marriage. In 2006, I think it was 5 or 6, somewhere in there. I found myself a divorced single mom, so I moved back to Greeley, Colorado, and I went back to college because I did 2 years of engineering school and then got married the first time around. So here I am, a mom with 2 little girls, and so I'm working part-time at a homeless shelter, going to school full-time, university, and my kids are in school, and so our life is really busy. And where I work at the homeless shelter, they said, Michelle, there's this guy who's got this train thing, and we want you to go do this fundraiser he's asking us about. So you go down to this train thing and do that. And so my daughters and I came here to what was then called the Greeley Freight Station. And my youngest, who's now in college, was 7 or 8. And she goes out into the train layout. And she came back and said, Mom, this is the coolest place I've ever been. She said,
nice.
Can we volunteer here? I love this place. And I said, you know what? I love this place too. This place makes me happy. And when we walked through the doors of this building, all our troubles stayed out there and we found joy here. And so my daughter and I, especially my youngest, she just really loved this place. We volunteered for a year and a half before I ever even worked here. We just loved being here. So
that's amazing story. Let me translate a little. Está comentando que, bueno, ella tuvo su segundo matrimonio, y cuando sus hijas estaban muy pequeñas, visitaron el museo, y a sus hijas les comentó de que quedaron encantadas de ese museo. Mamá, este es un lugar muy bonito. Creo que en esa época estaban buscando a alguien para tipo patrocinios, buscar algo de recabar fondos, y comenta Michelle que creo que fue voluntaria durante un año y
Un año
medio.
y medio, sí, año y medio. Sí.
Año y medio antes de trabajar. Y pues bueno, un poquito como decimos en México, eso fue hace creo que 11 años. El resto es historia, y el día de hoy es la directora del museo, y pues bueno, ya más arriba no se puede llegar. La verdad, una historia muy bonita, porque involucró a la familia, a las hijas, todas se sintieron a gusto en un lugar, y y pues bueno, al día de hoy pues llegas a la posición pues más deseada que se tiene, ¿no? Realmente pues estar
Sí, y destacar lo que dijo también, que ni bien entraron se sintieron muy a gusto en el lugar
Ujú,
y que eso, digamos, obviamente los conectó o las conectó directamente con el museo. O sea,
sí,
hay que poner todo en contexto, ¿no? Si viene de
sí.
una situación traumática, un divorcio, volver a estudiar y de repente encuentran este lugar es como algo mágico para recomenzar su vida.
Sí, y por ahí hay muchas historias de que el ferromodelismo te ayuda a salir de etapas difíciles, terapia, personas sin trabajo,
Mm,
y muchas cosas. Creo que para Michelle, pues, puede ser un buen ejemplo de su situación, divorciada con hijas. Por alguna razón se le atraviesa el ferromodelismo y bueno, al día de hoy es parte de su vida y llegó a salir.
sí,
Déjame decirle esto a Michelle, un poquito de
sí,
cómo
sí,
ayuda el
obvio.
ferromodelismo. Michelle, we just talk about that, how important is the model railroad for some people when they have some kind of crisis or bad situation in the life.
Mhm.
Sometimes perhaps you don't have job, you have, with the COVID and all this, they have like this kind of stress, they feel bad, but they find something to to share with the family, something to feel different. I don't know, scenery, construction. There are many things in model road that help people during these difficult times in the life. So we are going to talk that you find this 11 years ago, the family was with you, your daughters were with you, and well, now you are the director.
And I've been here for almost 12 years.
12 years.
Very good.
Well,
Yes.
if you count my volunteer time, yes. So,
That,
and
yeah,
I'm not going anywhere.
yeah, that's great. Uh, today we're not gonna talk about the museum because there is an excellent video that John from TSG Multimedia made about the museum. We're gonna put the link on the description, and
Okay.
then perhaps if you have time, we can make a quick overview from the museums, kind of live, and perhaps to talk in Spanish. But right now, we're gonna just put the link because it's a wonderful video that John made for
It
the
is.
museum.
It's a
Yeah,
great video.
yeah.
Yes.
Acabo de decir que no vamos a hablar un poquito del museo en cuanto a imágenes, porque hay un perfecto video que hizo John de THG Multimedia, que ya estuvo con nosotros, y la verdad vale mucho la pena, está muy bien editado, muy bonito y realmente lo vamos a poner en la descripción. Después le vamos a pedir a Michelle si tiene tiempo, a lo mejor hacer un pequeño tour, un recorrido en vivo, pero por lo pronto, el que quiera conocer el museo, hay una página de internet, está el canal de YouTube de TSG Multimedia y eh, eh, Michelle, do you know what is the web page from the museum?
It's
Is
cmrm.org. So for Colorado Model Railroad Museum, cmrm.org.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I will
because
put
we're
that
a
on the
nonprofit. So,
description.
yeah, so instead of .com, we're a .org because we're a nonprofit.
Then
So,
or okay.
yeah.
Martin, something that you want to add?
No, no. I would like to say to Michelle is like I have the opportunity. I had the opportunity almost I think 3 weeks ago
Yeah.
to have Michelle live with the meeting, a train meeting we did at home here in Australia, and we have around 15 people attending to that meeting, and yeah, everyone was like in love with the museum, and especially you as a person. Let's say so kind. You you are very kind. You invest a lot of
One
time, and
moment.
even let's say people like even you don't know, like I say, that's these days very hard to find. So yeah, that's it's not only the trains.
And you guys stuck it out with me hand holding a camera the whole time and nobody got seasick or anything.
No, that was amazing. That was amazing. So like I say, it's not only the trains, it's the kind of person you are too. So
Oh, thank you.
no problem at all.
It's
I'm going to translate that. So, le estaba diciendo a Michelle, hace 3 semanas tuve la oportunidad de recibir acá en mi casa la reunión de la NMRA, del grupo de Canberra, y lo que hicimos fue una reunión virtual con Michelle por casi 1 hora y media, donde la gente vio a través de la computadora o la pantalla, Michelle mostrándonos el museo en general y nos explicó absolutamente todo. Tuvo abiertas preguntas, no hubo ningún problema, y lo que la gente destacaba es la personalidad de Michelle y cómo ella se ofrece sin ningún problema, sin ningún interés. Y realmente lo que queremos destacar hoy en este chat o en este show es no el museo, sino Michelle como persona, que realmente es muy buena persona.
Sí, y algo muy importante, la personalidad de Michelle, de no solo promover, difundir el museo y estar involucrada y estar en otros programas, creo que eso ayuda mucho. Y de ahí lo quiero ligar. También les voy a dejar por aquí el link. Michelle participó, creo que en el primer panel de mujeres en el ferromodelismo hace 1 o 2 meses. La NMRA, a través de una sección que se llama NMRA X, hace reuniones virtuales una vez al mes. Y en esta reunión fue una junta de puras mujeres involucradas en el ferromodelismo y platicaron su experiencia. Creo que fue algo muy importante. Y ahorita lo que le quiero preguntar a Michelle es, ¿cómo se sintió en esa primera charla y cómo ella ha llevado el impacto como mujer dentro del museo? ¿Cómo ha visto esa evolución? Déjame reformular bien la pregunta para Michelle.
Sí.
Michelle, I just talk about the panel that you have on virtual session with only women. And my question is, how do you feel during this? Well, how do you feel the evolution during these almost 12 years in the museum? The train lady. How do you become the train lady in this? Do you have problems? What was this experience during this time?
Okay, so I did not know modeling when I came here, and I knew quite a bit about real trains, but in a different way. And so when Dave hired me to be an employee here, we looked at my personality and decided that the best way for me to really lead people who don't know me and I don't know their strength is to learn from them. And so from very early on, I came in with an attitude of, I want to learn what you're doing. I think it's amazing. Teach me what you're doing. And I'm like a sponge for learning. I love to learn. And so I will tell you, it wasn't easy though. So my job was to make this a tourist attraction, make us sustainable. When I was first hired, it was a 3-year experiment to see if we could actually put money in the bank at the end of the year. And on the 3rd year, we did. And we've been very financially stable since then because we built a really good foundation going in. So my job was to build the foundation of the structure of this museum. So I didn't come in to just model. I have to pay the bills.
The money.
I have to take care of the money. I have to raise the money, manage the money, pay the bills, and make sure the lights stay on, right? So that's what my job is. And so the very first year, I have friends that love Star Wars. You guys like Star Wars?
Yeah, we love Star Wars.
So Micro Machines made toys that were 1:87 scale. And I happened to own them all. I already owned them. They're the little heads that you open up and they have the little people. So I thought, I have Star Wars friends who have costumes, and we even have an R2-D2 in my group of friends. And so I had a sci-fi day, and I invited them all in, and I put all my little characters all over our prototypical layout. I covered it in Star Wars, right? It was our highest attendance day of the year, but I had 2 volunteers here who thought that was just the worst possible thing that could happen because I messed with the prototypical world. And how dare I put Star Wars on his railroad? And so, yeah.
That's amazing. Let me translate because that's too much and it's really interesting. Lo que nos comenta Michelle, que ella entró principalmente a la parte que en México conocemos de patrocinios, juntar dinero, hacer sustentable el museo, pagar las cuentas, a final de cuentas.
Administración, manager, realmente.
Exacto. Exacto. Realmente es manejar y meter dinero y que, pues bueno, que prácticamente eran sus 3 primeros años de hacer prueba, y a los 3 años logró que el museo fuera sustentable. Y dentro de una de las cosas que hizo para recabar dinero, nos estaba hablando de, hicieron un día de de ciencia ficción,
Ciencia ficción, sí.
el día de la ciencia ficción, y en este caso prácticamente dice que disfrazó el museo de Star Wars, donde puso muñequitos por todos lados de Star Wars, gente disfrazada de Star Wars. Y creo que esto es importante para la gente de Latinoamérica, que tenemos museos olvidados, pocas maquetas, pocas que no sabemos cómo sacar dinero. Y pues bueno, tener una temática de otra cosa que no sea ferromodelismo nos puede ayudar a recabar dinero. En este caso fue Star Wars. Puede ser vikingos, que hace rato hablaba con Martín. Pueden hacer
Sí.
muchas otras cosas para recabar dinero y que tu museo o lo que estés buscando recabar, pues sea
Sí, sí.
sustentable.
Mira, es como acá se dice en Australia, o creo que en todo el mundo, es pensar afuera del cuadrado, outside the box. O sea,
Sí,
ella buscó otras maneras de traer gente al museo, a ser atractivo para otros grupos de gente, para justamente cumplir con la misión que es, que sea sustentable, que hoy en día, obviamente, si no es sustentable, no cierran o quebrás. O sea, y ahí está la
sí.
imaginación de un good manager. Michelle, you mentioned Star Wars. I'm very big fan of Star Wars.
We are.
Yeah, well, I have a Black Series collection here at home, so that's my other
Oh,
hobby. I have 3 hobbies basically: trains, Star Wars, and Master of the Universe. So I'm very 80s. So He-Man and
Yeah.
all the stuff. So
awesome.
yeah, so I'm very happy. When we finish, I will share that to you because I have 2 special rooms for each collection. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, you touch my heart with that. I say we have so many coincidences now. But yeah, I say we were talking without and translating. Like I say, you're thinking outside the box to make
Mhm.
this museum something like can last in time, and that's like I say. I think that's when they employ you, they saw that on you. I say you have that skill. It's not only about model trains; it's about running the place, and you say paying the bills. Like I say, it's not an easy job because you have I think a limited group of people, right? They love trains, but you're starting looking outside that.
Well, if we
So
want to
that
share the hobby with people who don't know the hobby, you have to bring them in. And that
Yeah.
was the
exactly,
whole
yeah,
point, is that a day of Star Wars brings in people who've never seen a model train.
correct.
They're coming to a model train museum because they love
Yeah,
Star Wars, and then they fall in
yeah,
love with the modeling side. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that was my goal. It was our highest attendance day that year. We had 500 people that day.
Wow, wow. And I
So
say you created a multiverse. Let's say.
yeah, you can't call it a
Yeah,
Star Wars day because that's licensed, but
very,
it's a sci-fi day.
yeah,
Eh, tengo una pregunta que le quiero hacer de estos
sí.
12 años. Cuando vean el video de TSG Multimedia, el museo está perfectamente terminado. Pero creo que, bueno, yo nunca he escuchado en un video cuánto tiempo se tardaron en acabar esa maqueta, porque está control
Ah, es un super
automatizado,
proyecto.
todo
Es un
eso.
super
O
proyecto.
sea, ¿cuántos años? Michelle, eh, when you see the video, the the museum is complete, the layout is perfect, you have systems, computers, everything is nice. How long it takes to build this? The 11 years, or when you arrived, how was that? It was at the middle, it was just finished, or how was the evolution of the layout?
Okay, yeah. Dave actually started it in 2004. He poured the foundation and put up this metal building, and started all that dirt work in 2001, and the building was complete by 2004 because he had a lot of permitting stuff. It took a long time.
Yeah.
Then in 2004, they started actually putting lumber, wood in here to start
Mm.
building the layout. And he completed it in 2009. So it took him 5 years and about 35,000 man hours to build this layout.
Wow.
But Dave so there's philosophies, and I've learned so much about modelers now. They're the people that start their layout, and as soon as track is down, they run trains, right?
Yeah.
No, Dave, he said, we will not run a train until the scenery's done, because he didn't want to be the people that get it 3/4 done and then just start playing. And so he would not let them run trains until the
Wow.
scenery was done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Empezaron en el 2001. En el 2004 prácticamente empezaron a poner madera y todo esto. Y 2009 terminó. O sea, ha sido un proceso. Y algo, me adelanto un poquito, Martín, que decía, que mucha gente pones tu tabla, lo que sea, pones vías y luego quieres correr trenes.
Y sí, obvio. Es lo normal.
Lo normal, pero acá el dueño dijo, no
No.
corremos trenes hasta que la escenografía esté completa.
Wow.
That's a big challenge.
It
To
was
finish.
a challenge, but it was all Dave's dollars, and Dave funded it, and they called him the benevolent dictator, and I don't know how you translate that.
Yeah.
Like that, el dictador de la tierra del nunca jamás.
Sí.
Neverland es la tierra del nunca jamás y dictador tal cual, dictator.
Yep.
Eduardo, déjame enganchar ahí porque no muchos conocen quién es Dave. So, le voy a preguntar a Michelle, porque claro, estamos hablando de Dave, pero no sabemos quién es Dave. Michelle, just was saying, like, please, could you tell us who is or who was Dave, and explain his history? Because, like I say, you're talking about, obviously, he's the person who initiated all this process, but not many people know about him. Yeah.
Right. And the reason that you don't is because he actually retired and he's enjoying his time with his grandkids.
Yes.
So Dave Trussell is the man whose dream this was. He designed and built this. There was a book, and I have it on the other side of the office, called 101 Track Plans by Lynn Westcott. Really famous book here in America from the 1940s. And there's an article in it that says, if I had $1 million, I could build the ultimate model railroad. And this was in 1940. Well, Dave comes across this as a child in the 50s and decides it's a challenge. And he's going to do it. And so his whole life, he kind of worked towards this. He was a newspaper publisher. And he built many layouts in many cities as he bought more and more newspapers. And he bought the Greeley Tribune here in Greeley, our newspaper. And that was the last one that he purchased and moved here before he retired. So he ended up building his dream layout here as a gift. And so he built it, and it kind of morphed along. Like, it was built and complete. The scenery was complete when I walked in. But he had no plan for it to be for the public or for the museum. He thought that modelers would visit, maybe a club together as a group with their families. And so he didn't build the things that we need as a museum. I don't have a birthday room, a drinking fountain. My gift shop is a closet. He didn't think about the future for it at all. He just built it to play on it.
Yeah.
And then people wanted to see it.
Tengo una frase que me viene, all in America. That is like a dream, only in America.
Only in America. Yep. Yeah. And so when I came along is when people started saying, I'd like to see this place. Let us see this place. And so Dave looked at me and he said, Michelle, I think we can be a sustainable tourist attraction, but I need someone to manage it. I need someone to make it happen. And I want to retire, is what he said. So that's where I came along. My first day of actual work was 2011. January 3rd of 2011. And so I've been here. Now, Dave, he was with us for quite a while here in Greeley, but all of his grandkids are in Pennsylvania on the other side of the country. Yeah. So they decided they didn't want to miss out on watching their grandkids grow up. So they purchased a farm out there and they live in Pennsylvania, and Dave donated everything here. So we are what's called a nonprofit. Wow. So it's all donated. Right. And he entrusted me with its future. So here we are. That's why you don't often see Dave, though, because he's enjoying retirement with his grandkids.
Oye, Martín, vamos a dividirla. Mucha información muy importante, increíble. La primera parte, déjame tratar de aventármela y después tú. Dave, obviamente, es el dueño, pero nos está comentando Michelle que empezó como un editor. Era el dueño. Comenzó como un editor de periódico. Y comentó Michelle de un artículo en los 40, 50 que decía algo así como: si tuviera $1 millón, haré mi layout en sueño. Y que Dave lo vio desde chico y dijo: me voy a dedicar a eso. Ese va a ser mi objetivo. Trabajó, compró varias cosas relacionadas a la parte de editorial, hasta que finalmente pudo construir ese sueño. Pero él no lo pensó como un museo, no lo pensó como algo abierto, lo pensó como algo privado, algo para mí. Y cuando Michelle llega, enero 2000, dijo 9 o 11.
11.
11. es cuando realmente David le dice, hay que hacer esto, que la gente lo vea, y que pues, prácticamente Michelle se encargó de que pues, llegara a dar dinero y hacer toda esta parte sustentable.
Sustentable.
Esa es la primera parte que dijo Michelle, de cómo empezó todo esto, pero empezó lo que me gusta, el sueño de una persona que dijo,
Sí.
yo quiero construir algo, digo, no sé, sea $1,000,000 más, eso relativamente no es lo que importa, sino lo que importa es el sueño, y cuando te decides hacer algo, pues lo haces y se acabó.
Y después lo más destacable, la generosidad, porque por eso digo que
Ujú.
era el dueño, lo dona
Sí,
al Museo de Colorado para que Michelle lo continúe administrando. O sea, no simplemente lo construyó, sino que lo donó. O sea, que
exacto.
cuántas poca gente, porque su interés era la familia y decidió irse a Pensilvania para estar con los nietos. O sea, realmente una persona increíble, porque construir semejante monstruo, inversión, tiempo, vida y después desprenderse como si nada. O sea,
Sí, eso
increíble,
me,
increíble, increíble.
me recuerda un caso medio feo aquí en México de una maqueta que por ahí, no voy a decir dónde, que se andaban peleando que si es mía, que es tuyo, que la no, y realmente era una maqueta chiquita, nada despreciable, pero ahorita comparar con un señor que se dedicó toda su vida, puso
Y sí,
mucho dinero y al final lo deja para todos. Y al
claro,
día de hoy tenemos un museo que algún día visitaremos Martín y yo,
sí,
esperemos estar ahí,
seguro.
pero eso es algo muy bueno. Y, y me gustaría ahorita ligar, hay una parte que dijo Michelle, la parte de el sueño, querer hacer algo y compartirlo. Quiero retomarle otra vez con lo del panel de mujeres, le voy a platicar mucho a Michelle, porque me parece algo muy interesante, de que desde un punto de vista, yo no veo que las mujeres quieran promoverse mucho en YouTube o en canal, o no las he visto. La mayoría de los canales que yo veo son de hombres. En Instagram y todo, veo muchas mujeres. No veo que quieran compartir tanto. Y yo sé que hay, Michelle es el ejemplo, obviamente. Quiero preguntarle de ese panel, ¿cómo ves esta experiencia? Y le voy a hacer otras preguntas que tengo, pero ¿por qué no hay tantas mujeres hablando lo que hacen? ¿Por qué solamente ves canales de hombres? ¿Por qué no quieren o por qué no se ha dado? Eh, Michelle, I'm gonna relate the passion about the hobby, about to share something with the women panel that you participate. Uh, when I see YouTube, when I see Instagram, I only see men. I don't see I don't see who are the women. Why they don't share the job, the passion? Because we know they exist. We know they are there, but you don't see the work. Why is that? What is the perspective? Why they don't say, "Oh, okay, I'm a woman." Well, I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care about genders, but
Right.
why they don't share their passion?
I think a lot of times the women are involved in their husband's layout and they never take any credit for the
Yeah,
painting they do in the backdrops or for the buildings they build. I've been to so many home layouts where the women built a lot of the structures. The wives are
Yeah,
just as involved. And I don't know if it's because the way clubs evolved over time before women really were included, it's kind of like an old guys club and you tend to be grumpy old men
yeah,
at clubs,
yeah.
and maybe the women just aren't stepping up. I don't know. I honestly don't see myself as like a woman in the hobby. I'm just another person in the hobby.
Mm,
And so I don't let that ever be a barrier for me. And I'm never afraid of just jumping in and doing what the guys are doing. But I imagine some women are, because maybe they've been put down or something in the past, or they're nervous about it. I don't know.
Perhaps
yeah,
that's the magical word. You are not afraid.
Yeah.
And in that discussion, I remember that they say something about, oh, let's make some contest only for women and other for boys. For me, that's not correct. You need to make a contest for people. That's it. Perhaps you can divide by age because they have different skills,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to separate men, women, Spanish, American, Latin. No, there's only one section, only one contest, and that's it. And also, don't be afraid. Uh, we are like Martin said, we are the crazy Spanish guys trying to speak English, to interview many people. We are not afraid. We just simply
no,
Right.
jump in and let's do it. I think that's the key of this passion. Sure.
Eduardo, I would
Okay.
like to add, like I said, Michelle is one of the ladies, obviously, leading this group. But also remember Jenny from the UK.
That's right.
She's a great example. She's leading, in Europe, let's say, and we have Michelle. We have Jenny in our channel too. I think it was 6 months ago, and and you go into shows like with Ken Patterson, and like I say. Yes, you're correct. You're not afraid, and like I say, I agree with Eduardo. Should be. It's not about the gender. It's about the hobby, and be part. In Australia, it's different culture. I need to put this in context. Latin America is very like man's. It's all men's. Like I say, the Spanish, the Latin culture is is the women is like I say we. Like I say, I'm not that kind of person, obviously, but it's very hard for women to do stuff like like for example, play soccer. Like I say, you see in the US or you see here in Australia where the women they can play soccer without problems at the unis and everything. But if you go to Argentina, I'm sure in Mexico, it's not popular. It's like say people think it's not for women.
More
So I think it's
more traditional, more
So I think
traditional,
that
the bad way.
So like I said, in Latin America, it's very hard for women. And I think in other cultures like the US or UK or Australia, it's different. Like I say, you have a different role or you are more open. And Australia is a good example. Like I say, here was obviously a different context after the Second World War. In Australia, the women they took this country up really because there was no men left. Everyone was sent to Europe, and Australia lost a lot of men, and the women is very strong here in this country. But let's say yes, we need to put in context, and that's I think that's what Eduardo wants to. Let's say people are want to watch this from Argentina, Mexico, and it's a different point of view. So let's say you are a great example, and that's amazing.
Let me translate that, Martin. Martín acaba de platicar, le puso un poco en contexto a Michelle cómo es la situación en Latinoamérica, donde la palabra, no sé si en inglés cómo es, pero somos más machistas, es más de hombres.
Sí, son machistas,
esa es la palabra en inglés, no sé cómo sea, donde las mujeres no están involucradas. Él puso el soccer, el ejemplo, no son tanto. Tú vas, por ejemplo, las hijas de uno de mis mejores amigos viven en Texas y van a la liga de fútbol y todo, y súper pro y todo, pero en México apenas empieza, en Latinoamérica más hacia abajo todavía empieza. En Australia sí que es diferente, porque después de la Segunda Guerra Mundial, pues las mujeres son las que levantaron el país.
El país, sí, correcto.
Pero la cultura hispano-latinoamericana, las mujeres están más chapadas a la antigua, por decirlo así.
Correcto.
No se involucran, y yo creo que lo que dice Michelle es cierto. También tienen miedo de expresarse en un hobby tradicionalmente de hombres. Pero bueno, esperemos que haya una evolución.
Sí, hay another example. Voy a dar otro ejemplo. Michelle, like I said, last week I went to the Formula One GP here in Australia in Melbourne, and they say that from the attendance of people by gender, 45% they were women. 45%, and like I say, in motorsport, in Formula One, like I say, if you go to Latin America, you 5%. So 45% women attending to the event.
Wow,
that's the difference.
Where I live, it's there isn't like gender barriers as much. I think my generation at least doesn't experience it like my mom or my grandma did, for sure. I'm just another person in the hobby.
That's correct.
I've had a few people that I run into every now and then. I'll run into a modeler and they're like, you run this place? And I know that they're like, you're a girl, and so I know that exists, but I don't let that hold me back.
So that's so out of time. Like I say, I can't believe it. Sometimes, I can't believe. Like I say, there's still people thinking like that, and obviously different country. Like I say, it's very hard. Also in Latin America, there is the religion, the Catholic religion is very mankind of. So I say we can go forever. But I think it's time for an evolution, and like I said, people like you, like Jenny, like you're leading and going only on the hobby. Like I said, we are super happy, like I say, to share this time with you. Be alive at the same moment, because you're doing a revolution for good. That's a
Well,
good revolution.
one thing I want to say to this that I didn't get to say in the panel is that I think a lot of women don't think that they're good enough because they have like one specific skill that they like. Like maybe you only like to paint and you paint backdrops and stuff, and they don't feel like they're a modeler. I mean, I haven't built my own well, I built a Christmas layout. Does that count? I mean, it's just white. I didn't have to do any scenery. It's just snow.
Yeah.
Hay algo que quiero agregar a lo que dijo Michelle. Ahorita Michelle, lo voy a traducir, acaba de decir que muchas mujeres, como solo saben una cosa, no se consideran profesionales o parte del hobby. Oye, yo nada más hago escenografía o el background, pero hay algo importante. No es necesario saber de todo.
Nadie sabe de todo.
Nadie sabe
Nadie.
de todo.
Sí.
Lo importante es, por ejemplo, a mí me gusta mucho la instalación de decoders. Hice un poquito de escenografía, hice un poquito de todo. Pero no importa, o sea, eso que tú sabes, compartirlo y que no te dé miedo. Creo que eso es lo importante. Si tú eres bueno en una cosa, ya no necesitas ser el mejor. Y algo importante, espero que luego algunas mujeres de Latinoamérica puedan ver este video, se animen en México, de todos lados donde nos escuchan, y posiblemente luego organizaremos algún panel de mujeres latinoamericanas en el ferromodelismo.
Ojalá.
Pero tenemos ya el ejemplo en Europa, tenemos el ejemplo en Estados Unidos, y estoy seguro que hay un ejemplo hacia Latinoamérica, y creo que Michelle es el parte de todo esto.
Sí, y le quiero destacar otra cosa. Siempre hablamos de mujeres o varones, pero en realidad lo que le voy a decir a Michelle ahora en inglés es que en realidad el hobby para llegar a un buen suceso es un esfuerzo de grupo, es a teamwork. O sea, eso es lo que. Y Colorado, el Museo de Colorado es un muy buen ejemplo porque ella seguramente nos va a poder ampliar de cómo. Es como una pequeña comunidad en realidad y lo que han logrado. Michelle, like I say, we concentrating, like I say, in the gender, but for me, it's like I say, it's a teamwork effort, really. And the museum you're leading is a great example. Like I say, how many people, like I say, you say 35,000 hours there to create this amazing place, but how many people to run it, to maintain, like I say, and that's many skills, different people. Like I say, it's a teamwork.
And they like certain things. And so we let people choose what they want to do and what part of the hobby they want to be in. So to run this place, we run it in a few different ways. Our full operations is when we have about 20 volunteers and we'll run trains, 20 to 25 guys. This is Fridays and Saturdays. And we have a dispatcher and we dispatch the railroad and we run full operations. And that would be just like a Saturday here. And then different guys come on Friday and different guys come on Sunday. And on Monday we clean, and those are different guys. And so together there's about 75 to 100 people that at some point during this week touch this building, come in and do something here. Our staff is small. There's me. I have an assistant director who works part-time. We have a railroad manager who runs the computer trains when we don't have volunteers to come in on like middle of a Tuesday or something. He's here part-time, and I have a couple of ladies that work the front desk like 6 hours a week. And that's it for staff. It's all volunteer. It's volunteer run.
Well, Michelle, you say something. You can't believe this. I love to clean. I have a passion to clean trucks. And
You're not alone. We have a lot of guys that love it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I love it. I like go and clean.
We're so needed. You don't know how needed that is.
Yo prefiero poner un tren de limpieza. I prefer to make my own cleaning train, the one with they have the pads and they have the
alcohol and the
alcohol and the vacuum. They have like a vacuum.
Yep, we have that too.
Yeah.
We have a magnet too because it picks up all sorts of stuff on the magnet.
Sí. Pero lo importante que estaba diciendo Martín y Michelle nos dice es trabajo de equipo. Y algo muy importante, dice que el staff son 5 o 6 personas, pero los voluntarios en un fin de semana llegan a ser casi 100 personas, lo que nos está diciendo, que 20 un día, 25 el otro día, y todos diferentes. Entonces, este es un buen ejemplo. O sea, el staff tiene que ser muy poquito, no esta es gran gente, y todos lo hacen por amor al hobby, y lo hacen pues, de voluntarios. Y bueno,
Eduardo, ponete en nuestro lugar. ¿Qué darías vos por ser voluntario de ese museo?
Lo mismo te iba a decir. Yo soy muy lejos, yo estaría ahí cada semana. Pero sí, bueno, veremos qué haremos por nuestros lados. Pero sí, o sea, tener todo esto creo que nos ayuda. Y hay una pregunta que le quiero hacer a Michelle. Bueno, hay varias que no le hemos hecho, la típica. Y nosotros, me refiero tú y yo, por lo que he visto, no somos ni rivet counter ni
No,
muy de juegos. O sea, estamos como a la mitad.
sí.
Una, ¿cómo se considera Michelle? Y obviamente no le hemos preguntado cuáles son sus esquemas favoritos en la vida real y en el tren. Y bueno, en el ella, pues ya nos es, creo que es de puro login, que es de madera y no creo que. Pero a ella, ¿cuál es su esquema favorito en la vida real y en ferromodelismo? Y cómo se considera ella así? No creo que sea rivet counter, pero vamos a ver qué nos dice.
Okay, Michelle, we have typical questions here at the end. Like I say, look, we need to do another show talking about or showing the layout anyway. I know Eduardo mentioned like there is a good video from John, but I think we should. This show deserves to have the Colorado Museum special, especially because that's another excuse to talk with you, by the way. But yeah, typical questions are: what's your favorite railway line? If you have a favorite locomotive, doesn't matter, steam, diesel, electric, whatever. And let's say, what you consider yourself in the hobby, you are kind of river counter, you're opener, you let's say you don't care, you like whatever, like I say, put Star
Fantasy.
Wars in it. Yeah,
Fantasy.
whatever. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the okay. You start with.
So you want me to explain it? Okay. So I love the Rio Grande steam era of Colorado. So Denver and Rio Grande Railroad. So I love a K36,
Oh, yes.
K28.
Yes.
I love the steam, and I get to go ride them here. So I've learned that I love what I know. Favorite locomotive is probably, at this moment, it's probably the 4014, the Union Pacific 4014, because I'm going to go chase it this summer. I'm very close to that, and that's what I know. It's what I see. I got to ride behind it last year, and I love the 844 too, though. I've spent many years riding behind the 844 and volunteering for UP. So those are near and dear to me. I like modern trains. I love the coal industry. I went to Wyoming, to the middle of nowhere, and spent 3 days watching the coal industry. And everybody thought I was crazy, but I loved it. And it was really fun. So I love modern coal. If I were going to model, though, this is very important. If I were going to model, it would be freelance, because I don't think I can't achieve rivet counter. I am not a rivet counter, and I don't think I could achieve a perfect world. But if it doesn't have to be perfect and it can be my world, I can do it. So I would be freelance, like a prototypical line, but freelance where it is, maybe. Did that answer that?
No, perfect.
Un poquito traduciendo, voy a empezar al revés. Ella no se considera ni rivet counter ni de fantasía, sino como freelance en medio, porque dice que no se siente capaz de llegar al nivel de rivet counter, y por lo que veo como que no se engancha en eso, sino más de freelance y más de fantasía.
Sí, sobre.
Y sobre todo dice, algo que hemos visto, le gusta la era moderna, lo que ve, la parte de los coal, se me fue el carbón. De hecho, creo que dijo, se fue a Wyoming a la mitad de la nada a ver cómo es la carga de los trenes de carbón actualmente. Y también al principio estaba comentando que le gustaba la era de vapor de
Denver, Río Grande.
Denver, Río Grande.
K37, que es una hermosa locomotora. La K37.
Así es. Y mencionó,
I have to add one more thing, though, guys. So now, that was Michelle. That was me.
Yeah.
Now, museum director Michelle, the director of this museum, is a rivet counter like you've never seen.
Okay, good. Very
I
good.
get on these guys. I'm like, wait, I just found out this train isn't right. We have to change this. We are changing this train because I just learned this car is wrong. And so I'm the ultimate rivet counter when it comes to this layout. So
es lo que esperamos de la directora. That's what we're expecting about the director of Colorado Museum. That's perfect for you.
Y la otra cosa fue que también le gusta mucho, obviamente, la Vicky Boy, la 4014 y la 844. Y quiero preguntarle, por dijo que también ella fue voluntaria de UP, o sea, de Union Pacific. Quiero ver esa experiencia, porque no conozco, es la primera persona que conozco que es voluntaria, así que la quiero preguntar.
Hasta te va a poner el amarillito, UP.
Sí, ahora estamos bien.
Armored Gold.
Ya.
Michelle, another thing, you touch my heart all the time. You say, stop, please stop, because obviously I love Union Pacific. And you just mentioned you volunteer, for the UP. So please, could you share that experience? Because you are the first person, like I know, and I have the chance to, like, volunteer for the UP. So what you
Yeah.
did, what was the experience? Just to tell us, please.
So for the last few years, there was a train called the Cheyenne Frontier Days train that I started volunteering on in 2012, 2011, 2012. I'm an Operation Lifesaver representative, so I talk about train safety to families and children. And
Okay.
I just volunteer my time, and I work with Union Pacific closely. And so when they would run the train with their families and people, their particular passengers, I would be on the train talking about train safety and explaining the
Okay.
history of the cars, because I love the heritage fleet. I think the cars are beautiful and I wanted to study them. And so I started learning the history of all the cars. And so I can walk through a car and talk to the people in the car about the history of where they're sitting and how this, because they're named after a train. So what's the history of the train itself that it's named after? And what's the history of the specific car that you're in? And
Wow.
so,
Nice.
so I do those
Wow.
things. Now, that train, the last one that ran was 2018. So I haven't done that. But then when we switched over to the big boy, I was an official volunteer for the inauguration day and for quite a few other
Wow.
things. And usually it's around safety, because it's really important to me, rail safety.
Yes, of course.
And
Yeah.
so that's kind of how, it's not something you can just go to UP and sign up for.
No.
Yeah, no, of course.
I'm just blessed. I'm fortunate to be able to do that. So I love it.
Excelente, excelente. ¿Querés que traduzco yo entonces?
Sí, sí.
Sí, ella se fue voluntaria desde el 2012 y lo que hace especialmente se dedica a hablar de seguridad o safety en los trenes y contar la historia. O sea, hace lo que obviamente es uno de sus skills, es interactuar con personas y contar historias de los vagones y obviamente de seguridad para que nadie obviamente pase peligro en las excursiones o en los trenes. Y obviamente dijo que le encanta y bueno, que es un placer hacer esto, realmente.
Sí, sobre todo la oportunidad, ¿no? De poder participar, ya sea hablando lo de seguridad y todo esto. Yo, por ejemplo, en México no sé, no conozco voluntarios. O sea, por ahí conozco a alguien que trabaja en Ferrosur y Ferromex, todo, pero no conozco programas de voluntarios. Digo, la cultura
Mm.
es diferente, ¿no? O sea, no hay tantos
Sí, 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 sí.
eventos, pero la verdad sí, es algo muy, muy
Sí,
notable, ¿no? Realmente
yo
diferente.
creo que es la historia y la cultura. Acá en Australia tenés programas voluntarios para locomotoras clásicas como la Garratt, la C-38, que son íconos del ferrocarril australiano. Entonces,
Mm,
se forman grupos. Obviamente, no, no hay mucho, o sea, se perdió un poco, digamos, gente mayor, se la ve muy, no hay tantos jóvenes acá, pero creo que eso va a cambiar pronto, porque se hace mucha difusión. Y obviamente tenés compañías como UP que
ujú.
invierten en relaciones públicas y esas cosas,
Se-
o sea,
Y
que creo que es
seguridad.
la base. Y seguridad, correcto, correcto.
Oye, otra de las preguntas que hacemos, eh, que no le hemos hecho a Michelle, es, ella como directora, como amante, todo eso, ¿qué le recomendaría a las personas nuevas? No importa quién sea, como dices, no importa el género, hombre, mujer, lo que sea.
Esta va a ser buena para ella porque es su skill.
Ajá,
Ah,
exacto.
Michelle, the other question is just at the end, we always ask advice for new people to join the hobby. Like I say, what's your advice when you meet somebody who wants to start the hobby?
That you don't have to know how to do everything to be in this hobby.
Yeah,
I love to run trains. I like to
yeah,
operate. That's what I don't want to build a layout. I want to run the trains.
yeah.
I don't know that I could have lasted 5 years like Dave, waiting till the scenery was done. So I think that my advice would just be find the part that brings you joy and that you're passionate about, and find someone else who has your weakness and work together. It's a team.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Palabras muy, muy sabias, ¿no? De no tienes que saber de todo. Encontrar a alguien para que entre los dos aprendan. Y creo que lo habíamos dicho antes, ¿no? O sea, no estar tan como clavados en ser perfecto, ¿no? En todo. Te puede gustar la pintura, escenografía. Bueno, ahorita ya está mucho de moda, que no lo hemos tocado, impresión 3D. He
Sí.
visto mucha gente que está en las impresoras 3D, realmente están a precio accesible y se dedican a eso. De hecho, para variar, una de mis estrellas, Luke Towan, sacó un video de
Ah, sí.
el de Volver al Futuro.
Ah, lo viste, impresionante.
Me encantó,
Impresionante.
pero tantas cosas que hay que hacer, dije, no tengo, o sea, hay que comprar la cortadora de acrílico, hay que cortar la impresora,
Ah, sí, no,
pero
pero
pues, como a él le regalan todo, está muy fácil. Pero a lo que voy,
sí.
o sea, hay muchas facetas, o sea, puede ser 3D, puede ser
Sí, no, es
pintura, y entonces es
increíble.
muy buen consejo de Michelle. Encuentra una
Sí.
cosa y no te
Sí,
preocupes.
disfrútalo, disfrútalo. Michelle, the other thing we always say, like, we have, we want to finish, like, in a way, your phrase is, you say good words saying, don't be afraid. So, for example, we have Ken Silvestri from Brother Limited. He say, the model railway is an illusion. We have many people, they left, they say, we have a little book. So you
Phrase,
mentioned, I say, don't, yeah, phrases. I say, so I say, I think what you say when you say don't be afraid, that's the Michelle phrase.
sí,
And anything else you want to add about that, like I say.
I just find joy in everything, and
Yeah.
I just wish people joy in the hobby. That's what we do. It makes me happy, and I just love sharing that with people. So this hobby is something that you can share with people and find joy, and it brings people together too. So that's not a phrase, that is a long sentence, so we got to shorten that up.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's the reason we would
But
like
yeah,
to add.
don't be afraid is a good one. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Okay.
That pretty much
Very
sums
good.
me up. I just jump in, and sometimes I fail, and then we just try again.
Yeah, that's okay.
oye, y déjame hacerle un pequeño comercial del plan ese que te digo de la mesa. Para los que escuchen bueno, este video va a ser antes de este plan. En México hay un proyecto de un tren Maya y vamos a invitar, no expertos, sino a varias personas. Lo que quiero ahorita es decirle a Michelle que ojalá nos pueda acompañar para que nos dé su punto de vista, ella desde el museo. Le voy a mandar algunos papeles para que lo analice. ¿Cómo vería ella como fanática, como aficionada, vendría a México a subirse a este tren? Porque esa es parte de la discusión que vamos a platicar. Es un tren que va a estar en la Riviera Maya y otros estados, que ha causado polémica en México, pero creo que puede ser algo bueno si está bien implementado. Entonces, le voy a hacer un poquito el comercial de uno de nuestros shows en futuro, brevemente, que vamos a tener, que ojalá lo pueda ver, aunque sea en español, porque sí va a ser todo en español, pero conocer el punto de vista de un aficionado eh, que no solamente le gustan los trenes, dirige trenes y vive en trenes. O sea, ¿cómo vería un proyecto así? ¿Sería atractivo sin saber nada de partidos y políticas, sino simplemente cuál sería su punto de vista? Creo que es prácticamente la mesa que queremos hacer. Entonces, si me permites, déjame hacerle este
Sí, sí,
comercial
obvio.
y se lo voy a invitar. Oh, Michelle, I was talking with Martin that in the near future, we're going to have a discussion about a new project in Mexico they call Riviera Maya Train. I believe it's for 4 or 5 states, including Cancun and Playa del Carmen. There are many things to talk about this project. Uh, Politics, investment, environment, and
Tourism.
we're we're gonna
Tourism.
have tourism exactly,
I
and
work
we're
a
gonna
lot in tourism.
that's that's exactly my point. We're gonna invite you to this show. Uh, Maybe if you can say something about the point of view from United States, from the tourism, from the viability of this project. I will send you some information for you to read, but it's going to be really important to have different opinions from different people. The discussion, we are only we we are different backgrounds. We have different degrees, and we are not experts in construction. We are not experts in tourism. We only want to share the experience and to say, oh, this is a good project for Mexico. We have a train, but is it really viable to have a train in Mexico? That's a question. For example, you have Amtrak, and it's a success. Everybody want to travel in Amtrak, and they have a big infrastructure. But in Mexico, we don't have. And I'm not sure. if we are ready for that.
I have lots of questions. Is it commuter or is it tourism? Or is it a mix of both?
That's it. Yeah, and that's the problem. In Mexico, I don't know if the economy of the people who live in that states, oh, I'm gonna take the train to my job. They don't have the money.
They're not
I'm
going to be
gonna
able to afford the ticket. Right.
exactly. So there are
Yeah.
many things, and I think that you will enjoy that discussion. And I will send you some information. But well, that was my I forget comercial, my advertisement,
Okay.
but for later.
Sounds
So,
great.
Martín, ¿algo más que le quisieras preguntar?
No, de mi parte creo que estamos ya justo redondeando una hora y que, bueno, obviamente me encantaría decirle que hacer una segunda parte con el museo para compartirlo con todos. Así que si me dejas la
Sí,
oportunidad.
sí, 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 adelante.
Michelle, yeah, I think from my point of view, we had a great interview already with you, and I think it's for me time to wrap up. And obviously, looking forward to have a second chance to show the museum and share the museum to the Latin American people. And again, like I say, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. And look, we talk totally different things today, and it is amazing. Like I enjoyed, to have
I
you.
enjoyed this. Thank you so much for inviting me and letting me come be a part of this. I love your show. This is great. I'd be happy to come back anytime you ask me.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
One more thing. Well, una cosa más. First, I'm going to say in Spanish and then in English.
Okay.
Le voy a pedir decir, bueno, normalmente este es un programa para gente de habla hispana, donde compartimos experiencias y muchas otras cosas. Le voy a pedir a Michelle que teniendo esto en cuenta, de que no es la audiencia que ella normalmente es habitual, conoce y que está en Estados Unidos o en otra parte que hablan inglés, ¿cuál sería su mensaje de ella a todas estas personas que compartimos, somos iguales y a la vez diferentes? Compartimos la pasión, el hobby, todo eso, pero nuestras condiciones, pues ya lo dijimos, son diferentes. El tema de la mujer y la parte machista y todo eso. ¿Cuál sería qué les dejaría ella como mensaje a todas estas personas que normalmente no la escuchan? ¿Cuál sería su consejo? ¿Qué les gustaría decir? Cualquier cosa fuera, así que me dicen, fuera del escrito, que quisiera compartir. Okay, Michelle, normally this is a Spanish program, and you have been in with Ken Patterson, with John, and you have some kind of audience. They only speak English and they live in different country. They have a different everything. Our show is from Spanish, Latin American people. They have a different background, but we share the passion for the trains, for the hobby. And
Yes.
what is the message that Michelle will say to all these peoples that normally they don't heard about Michelle? Perhaps this is the first time that, oh, Michelle, oh, the Colorado Museo, because this is the first time they hear in Spanish. What would be your message for all these people?
Oh, wow. That's deep. Okay. So
Yeah.
I will say this from the museum side. This museum is your museum. It's Eduardo's museum. It's Martin's museum, and it's all of your viewers' museum. We are a museum of model railroading. And if you love any part of the hobby, we're here for you. And so we are bigger than our walls. We're not a very big building, but we think bigger than that. And we know there are modelers all over this world, and we are here to support all of them. And so
Nice.
we're here to appreciate you.
Very good.
I'm kind of the great appreciator. So I would want them to know that they are welcome here, wanted here, and we'd love to hear from you and connect. And so, yeah, we're
That's
glad
great.
you're here.
You're good. You're
Amazing.
good. You're good at jobs. You're good. Habló perfectamente de la parte de como directora del museo. Me gustó lo que dijo. Este museo es de Martín, este museo es de Eduardo y de todos los que nos escuchan. Estamos aquí para ustedes. Dijo un poco de, a lo mejor es el edificio pequeño, pero es más grande de lo que es. Y pues me gustó esa parte de compartir, ¿no? El mensaje es, el museo es para ustedes y aquí estamos. Creo que se agradece realmente.
Perfecto, perfecto. Creo que sí, no, impresionante. Es una... Ahí te muestra qué tipo de persona es. Lo que
Así,
hicimos al principio lo cerró, así que, no,
así es,
excelente, excelente.
perfecto. Pues Martín, buenos días, buenas tardes en Australia. Michelle, creo que son noches para ti, también para mí son noches. Para todo mundo, no sé, buenos días, buenas tardes cuando puedan ver esto. Sigan en el canal. Acuérdense, UP Snowy Valley, Just for Fun Trains. Sigan a TSG Multimedia. ¿A quién más tienen que
Ujú.
seguir? Busquen a Michelle en YouTube, busquen a todos.
Sí,
Y como siempre, un placer compartir con ustedes. Un abrazo y creo que aquí terminamos la transmisión del día de hoy.
chao, hasta luego.
Bye.